West Denver. Sleep deprived and heavily caffeinated.
All right, let's do this then.
This is the Jeff and Bill Show.
I don't agree with that.
They don't always agree, but hey, at least they have coffee.
Coffee.
And each other.
I love you, man.
God help us.
I want to bless him. We need all the help we can get.
Now here's Jeff Hunt and Bill Thorpe. The Jeff and Bill Show on News Talk 710.
And for the record, pineapple does not
KNUS.
belong on pizza, despite what one of my kids says. No, does not. Hey, it's Bill Thorpe. Jeff Hunt not with us right now because he's in court. No, he's just there because remember that time when he was down at the protest and random dude kicks him in the back? Yeah, had it on video, went and confronted the guy. Guy seemed nonplussed about it. Luckily, with the help of all of you, our great listeners, we were able to track down who the guy is and, in fact, a lot of details about him. You guys are amazing. So because of that, Jeff was able to deliver the video information and other details to the Denver Police Department. The police department took a look at the security cameras, and sure enough, it's exactly as Jeff described. So the person in question has been charged. The arraignment is this morning, going down just in about 30 minutes. Jeff wants to be there, so we are happy to give him this time to hang out in the court. If he gets out early enough, he will join us and tell us what happened. If not, join us tomorrow. So yeah, you and I are only flying solo for the next 2 hours. I don't know if that's good news or bad news. But one of the things that's kind of stuck in my mind over the last 24 hours, Jeff and I had talked about the release from Tulsi Gabbard, Director of National Intelligence, about allegations that the Obama administration changed the narrative on the 2016 election and Russian interference. And I'm hearing people talk about this as the biggest political scandal in history. What I'm real curious about is it? Am I missing something? Because I see no scandal here at all. The information that Tulsi released on Friday is exactly information we all knew beforehand. We knew it well before Tulsi released it. The Obama administration had been clear back in, 2016? They had said in September and October that there was no hacking of the election equipment, like Donald Trump and others had alleged happened in the 2020 election. The Obama administration had been clear about that and then talked about influence campaigns, and that's what they were focusing on. That's what the narrative that Tulsi's pushing back on. She's saying they decided to do an assessment about this. Well, yeah, you do. If you're trying to figure out what's going on, you do an assessment. You do an assessment of your kids' work in school. You do an assessment of them cleaning their room. You do assessments of them completing their chores over the course of the week. Your boss does an assessment of your work product on a regular basis. Yes, that's what happens. So what I want to know from you is this the biggest political scandal in history? And what am I missing? 303-989-1971. No, 696-1971. I don't do the phone number. But what we're going to do is we're going to chat with Blake Olson. He's going to give us some news for a while. And then you and I want to talk about whether or not this is the biggest political scandal in history. I don't think it is, but I'm hearing a lot of other people that have radio shows talk about this being a giant scandal. What am I missing? Call me, text me, tell me what I've got wrong. But first, it's time for News and Comment with Blake Olson.
Blake Olson.
Blake Olson, News and Comment.
Hey, good Tuesday morning. 74 and partly cloudy in Denver, expecting a high of 90 today. This portion of the news sponsored by Pastor Camp Heating and Air Conditioning at 303-777-1234 to learn more about special savings opportunities on Lennox equipment. Our top story.
Those are, things that need to be considered right now. And I was ready to wake up this morning to hear about some of these raids that should have been going on.
Let the raids begin. General Flynn, who was innocent 9 years ago, wrongly accused. Time for the raids to begin, but a little late now for the surprise. Lives were ruined and innocent people went to jail. That's what the left does best. And now it's time to answer for their corruption, actual corruption, disregarding the will of the American people. Attorney Mike Davis on the statute of limitations for Barry, Clapper, Comey, and the rest of the criminals.
Talk about the statute of limitations, Ben. Generally, the statute of limitations for federal felonies is 5 years. So you say, oh, this was 2016, we're well beyond the statute of limitations. Guess what? You're not, because this is an ongoing criminal conspiracy. When you conspire, in order for the conspiracy to stop, you have to disavow the conspiracy. The ends of the conspiracy have to end. They haven't. They are covering up the conspiracy. They are perjuring themselves. We saw perjury by high-ranking Obama officials during this ongoing criminal conspiracy. I think it was in 2022. So we're well within the statute of limitations, and I would say to these Biden Democrats, justice is coming. I would be very, very scared if I were you. I don't think we'll put you in Mike Davis's gulag, the Viceroy's gulag, as we joke, as we troll. But justice is definitely coming, and I think the Bureau of Prisons will have plenty of space for these people.
Speaker Mike Johnson is ruling out a vote on releasing files related to Epstein before lawmakers go on break in August. Border czar Tom Homan vows to flood New York City and other so-called sanctuary cities with ICE agents following the shooting of an off-duty Border Patrol officer. Mayor Eric Adams says he welcomes the move to assist the NYPD to go after dangerous people. Homan says he's frustrated because he feels there is a lack of cooperation from Democrats in cities like Denver to help ICE agents and arrest illegals. And Hakeem Jeffries, of course, once again criticizing conservatives. That's what he does best. And Stephen Miller having none of it. It's Stephen Miller time.
Can you imagine getting a lecture on public safety from the party that has let child rapists and murderers into this country en masse? Do you have any idea how many little girls have been maimed and raped and killed by the illegal aliens that they let into our country, that they gleefully allowed into our nation? And they want to lecture us on public safety? They have destroyed the lives of countless thousands of Americans. And today, Democrats run sanctuary cities that protect and shield illegal aliens who have committed the most heinous crimes from deportation.
Exactly. D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser says she's not concerned about DJT's recent demands when it comes to the NFL. Bowser downplaying a post by the president that included a demand for the Washington Commanders to go back to being called the Redskins as a part of any deal to get a new stadium on federal land in the district. 47 said that because 9 out of 10 natives polled want the name changed back to the Redskins. Ukrainian President Zelensky says renewed peace talks will be held with Russia tomorrow in Istanbul. The previous two meetings in May and June resulted in the transfer of thousands of POWs and the remains of fallen military personnel being returned. Thousands of pages of the MLK files have been released and include FBI investigation notes, leads, and details about assassin James Earl Ray's former cellmate, according to Intelligence Director Tulsi Gabbard. Tributes are pouring in for Malcolm Jamal Warner. You may remember him. He drowned on Sunday while vacationing in Costa Rica. Fans in his birthplace of Jersey City remembering the 54-year-old Cosby Show star for his impact on Americans from the TV show
That's
Cosby.
Theo Huxtable, man. Dude.
Yeah, Theo.
That's
Theo.
rough. That's
sad,
rough for me.
man.
That is stud.
That is.
There still is an episode of the Cosby Show that I have used with my kids over and over again, and it
Which
stars and it stars him. Basically, it's the one where Theo gets his first job and thinks he's living high because he's living under Dad's roof.
Yeah,
and so Dad comes in and talks to him about, well, you got to do this much for rent and this much for food and this much for bills. And Theo realizes that he has only this much money left. Yeah, I have walked through 3 of our 4 kids that exact scenario.
That's
and
great.
Said, this is what it is. And the idea that, and because there was one of them that a number of years ago was looking at moving out, et cetera. And I'm like, yeah, you can. Said, but here. If you stay here right now, you can do X, Y, and Z, and it gives you the ability here while you're also studying in school, and because they're doing college, and it allows you to put some money away, and it just makes everything a little bit easier. And then you've got some money to make a down payment or a security deposit or something later on, or a down payment on a car. Plus I can make sure they're doing all the classwork. So, but that's it.
Exactly.
I've walked it through. I've used that. I use that exact scenario.
That's great.
Yeah, from the Cosby
They were
Show.
great lessons on the
they
Cosby
were.
Show.
Yeah.
Just good lessons.
I mean,
It was
really,
good
really
TV,
good life.
Great
Yeah.
TV.
Really, really good
Yeah.
life lessons.
Did he do anything else? I really never saw him.
I don't remember him doing
Did
anything
you?
large. I mean, I think there were little things. I remember seeing him in small stuff, but nothing ever big.
Really?
He never The other thing that I do remember hearing is that he just was an overall good dude. That he just
he
was
seemed like
genuine. Yeah. I remember one of the other cast members a number of years ago was going through some issues. And one of the things that she said afterwards was how supportive he was. That like the first person that was there, no questions, nothing else. It was always like, what can I do to help?
cool.
It wasn't a, how did this happen? Oh my gosh. It was a, what do you need from me? She said that meant more to her in that moment than anything else. So that's cool.
Yeah, that is cool.
Yeah.
Gone way too soon.
I know.
Only
way too soon.
54, man. That is sad. All right, the Rockies lose to the Cardinals 6-2 tonight. First pitch, 6:40, 71 in Louisville, 72 in Arvada, 74 in Denver. Jeff and Billy continue.
The place that has the mermaid is the logo. I find their coffee to be very acidic. Now, it could just be my personal taste.
I can't drink it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I said, no, I don't want fries, a drink, or, a Cadillac. I just want to get 10 tenders.
Breakfast time. Blake Olson, News Talk 710 KNUS.
We'll reach the 80s and lower 90s along the Front Range with a good chance of afternoon and evening showers and thunderstorms, and lows tonight mid-60s. Cooler, we're only going to be in the 80s Wednesday and Thursday. Wednesday and Thursday, both days. Showers and thunderstorms are likely with nighttime lows in the lower 60s. Weather is a service of L&L Heating and Air Conditioning. For quick, trustworthy, and dependable service, call L&L Heating and Air Conditioning at 720-851-1691. Visit them online at bestdenverhvac.com. You'll be comfortable with L&L. Meteorologist Don Day in the 710 KNUS Weather Center.
Welcome back to the Jeff and Bill Show. Yeah, this is not the right voice to open up this hour, is it? No, not at all. Normally I'm quiet right now. Probably a better thing at that point, too. No, Jeff is not here right now, as we talked about end of last hour. Jeff is in a courtroom right now. No, he's not the defendant. It has to do with when he was assaulted at that Denver protest, where a random dude comes up and just kicks him in the back, just decides to go WWE and drop kick out of nowhere. So, yeah, he's downtown because that guy is being arraigned this morning. Thanks to the help of you, our listeners, we were able to track down the alleged assailant and some other information about brother, family, things like that. And that information was delivered along with the videos from Jeff to the Denver Police Department. They did their due diligence, including not just listening to what Jeff said, but pulling security cameras of the day and other information around there. And sure enough, story checked out exactly what Jeff said happened. The guy was arrested and charged. And today, it's his arraignment. Now, court kicks off here in about 15 minutes, so Jeff is down there. If he has time, if the arraignment's high enough on the docket, he'll join us afterwards. If not, he will update us tomorrow as far as what went on. So just realize that, you're stuck with me, but at the same time, Jeff's in a courtroom listening to a bunch of people that are being arraigned because they urinated in public and did other things and showed people parts of their body that probably should remain private and stuff like that. So, yeah, he's with who's who of Denver's finest today. So, yeah, he'll be back with us. But I want to talk to you. Now, first of all, it's beautiful today. It's going to be absolutely gorgeous. Got a possibility of a few storms in and around town, but it's going to be 92 degrees. That's ahead of a slight cool off. We are expecting some weather changes, just a little bit. Clouds moving into the area for Wednesday and Thursday, going to drop down into the mid 80s. And then we're back up into the low to high 90s by the weekend. It's a little bit punishment if you're like me and you don't like all the heat, because by the time we hit Sunday, it's going to be like 99 to 100. And then we're scraping 100 when we roll back into work for next Monday. So again, we're going to have some showers, some overcast next couple of days, starting today, kicking in Wednesday and Thursday. Take advantage of it if you need to, because after that, it's going to be hot, really hot. And give me a call, 303-696-1971, 303-696-1971. Yesterday, Jeff and I talked a little bit about the allegations of Tulsi Gabbard, saying that, is this treason by Barack Obama and his administration? Did they hide information about Donald Trump? Did they manufacture it? Did they create a criminal conspiracy? Tulsi has said in an official release that it could rise to treason. I've heard other talk show hosts say it's the biggest political scandal in history. Is it? 303-696-1971. I see nothing in Tulsi's release that we didn't know already. Nothing. We knew that Russia didn't hack the 2016 election. That was the allegations that were going to pop up 4 years later. Nobody was saying hack then. There were people that did in the 24 to 48 hours prior to the election, where Hillary Clinton lost, rightly so, to Donald Trump, questioned whether or not it was stolen. But that was a lot of hurt feelings. Nobody set up any investigative committees. Nobody hatched any plans. Fake electors. Didn't start an advertising campaign around it. Nothing like that. They had later on. But Tulsi Gabbard, the director of national intelligence, says the Obama administration hid the fact that the election wasn't hacked, and then turned around and decided to float the Russia conspiracy. Now, she does, other people are leaning on the Steele dossier, which is mostly untrue. There are some kernels of truth in there, but that was, again, purchased by the Clinton campaign. Dumb purchase. Didn't help them out in any way, shape, or form. But you do have other investigations, including one that by our Congress that found Russia tried to influence the campaign that doesn't rest on the information contained inside the Steele dossier. The Muller report doesn't use the Steele dossier as any reference point, yet both of those investigations concluded that Russia was trying to influence the 2016 election in favor of Donald Trump. So how does Tulsi come to this conclusion? What I can't figure out is, talked about it yesterday. Tulsi's the director of national intelligence. Is she just unintelligent enough to realize that what she's talking about has already been public knowledge for 5, 6, 7 years? Or is she assuming that MAGA and the MAGA supporters aren't intelligent enough to know the difference? I was shocked over the weekend with the number of social media posts and videos I ran across of people talking about, this is the end of Barack Obama. Donald Trump himself put up on his social media a fake video of Barack Obama being arrested. Okay, sure. But really? What is the crime here? And what I'm curious about is, what am I missing? I'm certain there's you in the audience are yelling at that radio saying, you moron, Bill, how could you not see this? We have some text messages I'll get to. Yeah, I'm not necessarily saying moron, but other descriptive words that I'm just not seeing this. Give me a call, 303-696-1971, 303-696-1971. What am I missing? Outline for me how this is a giant criminal conspiracy, possibly, as other talk shows have said, the biggest political scandal in history. I see nothing more than a popcorn fart here. I don't see anything. Oh, that's good, Cato's Coffee. Again, Cato's Coffee, Jeff and Bill 10. Go check them out, catoscoffee.com. Spell it with K's. And it's fantastic. It's non-acidic. So we're rocking it here in the studio this morning. So check them out, Cato's Coffee, catoscoffee.com. Jeff and Bill 10 will get you a discount on your first order. They've got a variety pack. Thing for me is it's just delicious coffee. Now, 303-696-1971. Is this the biggest political scandal in American history? How are we possibly getting to the idea of this being this enormous political scandal when all the information prior to what Tulsi released over the course of the weekend was existing beforehand? The Obama administration had come out late in 2016 saying, no, there was no hacking of the election equipment. Yet, that was what Tulsi led with, something that had already been announced and acknowledged by the Obama administration. Then she comes out and talks about a meeting where they were going to assess the ways that the Russians were possibly trying to influence the election. Wouldn't you do that? Don't you have an assessment of what possibly went on? If you have a project at work, you probably do a post-mortem, which is an assessment afterwards. You probably do a pre-assessment as well, as far as what are the goals and how are we going to accomplish this. The teachers at your kids' or grandkids' school do an assessment of their work on a regular basis and then deliver grades quarterly, sometimes semester-wide. Your boss does a regular review or assessment of your work product. The IRS even assesses our taxes and whether or not we gave them enough money. They never want to give us back the extra stuff. So is this necessarily unusual? What I can't figure out is how anybody's coming to the conclusion that this is the biggest political scandal in history. And what I'm so worried about are those individuals, some of which are friends of mine, that are trumpeting this, because I'm really afraid that when there are no arrests, I know this has been referred to the Department of Justice, but when nothing comes of this, that you're going to feel like you've been taken advantage of. That you've been feel like you've been lied to yet again. That you feel like yet again you were promised the Epstein list and then told that he in fact killed himself and there is no list. Is that where we're going with this? And we can touch on the Epstein thing as well, because I'm curious about that, as whether or not there's a feeling of this being a betrayal from MAGA. But call in. Let me know. Text in on the Dan Caplis text line, 720-819-5115. 720-819-5115 is the Dan Caplis text line if you're busy and you can't join us on the phones. But give me a call, 303-696-1971. Is this the biggest scandal in American history? Well, biggest political scandal in American history. I've heard that floated in the last 24 hours on conservative talk radio, that the fact that the Obama administration knew that the 2016 election wasn't hacked by manipulation of the machines, but instead floated the idea of influence campaigns, of which have been proven true. Is this a scandal? Do you expect Barack Obama to be arrested for this? Why? What is the new information that you are seeing inside of Tulsi's release? I don't see anything that happens. But tell you what, we're going to step aside. We're going to check in with Jeff Hunt here in just a second. But right now, give me a call, 303-696-1971. Convince me this is the biggest political scandal in American history. This is the Jeff and Bill Show. Denver's talk leader, News Talk 710, KNUS. Jeff and Bill Show, 710 KNUS. You're expecting 92 degrees today. Storms rolling in later on today, and then a little bit cool down for Wednesday and Thursday. Only going to be the mid-80s before we pop back up into the high 90s by the weekend. We're going to be in the low 60s most of the nights. But Jeff is already done in court. Hey! And he's joining us live on the VIP line. Hello, Mr. Ron. How did the arraignment go? Yeah, share with the audience what happened.
Well, yeah, so a reminder of why we're down here at the Denver City and County Court is it was a protest a few months ago, 6 weeks ago now, the anti-ICE protest here in Denver, and was covering, as I cover most protests, and talk to folks and poke and prod around their beliefs and make some good content and stuff like that, and was down not even interviewing anybody at that point, was just kind of talking to the camera when I got kicked in the back by a guy who admitted, when I confronted him and chased him down later, that I just really make him angry. And this is a guy I'd never met, never interviewed, didn't know his name prior to this, just sucker kicked in the back. So,
and also conveniently on the video that you had of that incident, later on we convert him, conveniently said to somebody else that you had pissed him off. So
yeah, that's right.
That would be motive.
Yeah, motive, intent, planning, all that stuff. And the kid's young. I think he's 22, 23 years old. Anyways, I chased him down. I confront him, and I said, I'm going to bring you up on assault charges. Didn't throw a punch back, didn't kick him back, didn't even nothing. I just said, I'm going to bring you up on assault charges. You could watch the kind of blood drain out of his face when I told him that, because I don't think he had quite thought through all the consequences of his actions. So, anyways, filed police report. Police take down my statement and what I thought happened, and a few weeks later get a call from the Denver police. He goes, oh, yep, it's pretty much exactly as you described it. Guy just out of nowhere, just kind of randomly winds up and kicks you in the back. And fortunately, you had your backpack on because it took the brunt of the force of this. But we have surveillance video, which I'm not going to be able to access until after the trial. That's what they said to me. But they said, yeah, he did you a good one. Kicked you right in the back. And John Caldera lovingly joked that there's a lot of people that like to do that. in fact, many of us at one point have wanted to give old Jeff Hunt a kick in the back. But today was the arraignment, and went down there. He's hired an attorney. He was there with his mom and his dad. He's wearing a suit, a bit disheveled, not unlike how I ran into him down at the anti-ICE protest. Kind of progressive, long hair, scruffy beard, and he's dressed in a suit, and he's there with his mom and his dad and his attorney. And today was an arraignment and the issuing of a protection order.
Ooh.
So this young man named Aiden, got a complicated last name, but his young man named Aiden is not allowed within 100 feet of me, not allowed to contact me, none of that stuff. So this is pretty typical of an assault case, that the city will step in and put in a protective order that you cannot continue to harass the person that you have assaulted. And so Aiden was accepted that. The next court date will be September 2nd. I anticipate that due to the fact that he's hired an attorney, it could go one of two ways. It could become a trial. You could say, not guilty. I never did this. I don't even know who this man is. Or I brushed into him. I can't just kick him. But from what I've heard from both the Denver police and the Denver City attorney's office is that it's pretty clear he wound up, sought you out, wound up and just gave you a, "This is Sparta," kick right in the back. And so they have the evidence to prove that. They're happy to take this as far as they need to. the other option is that he could plea it out. He's hired an attorney. They'll negotiate a plea deal, and we'll all go on our merry ways. So that is the latest update on the kick heard around the world.
Now, my guess is he's looking for a plea. That's why he's got the lawyer, because the lawyer is going to help him navigate that plea deal, because the lawyer will be more familiar with the negotiations. And that's my guess, is they're bringing in a professional to negotiate, because I am not a lawyer, nor do I play one on the radio. But when they have video of you doing the alleged act from several different angles, difficult to claim that I didn't do it. Just in general, just from the TV shows I've seen, it normally doesn't work out well that way.
And if you literally have me videoing myself getting kicked in the back.
That's the crazy part, is all of a sudden it is on video. It's like, blah, and you are just jolted from behind. Yeah.
And then if you slow, and I went frame by frame, and you go frame by frame, you can see him over my right shoulder with the face that looks like I'm kicking you in the back.
Yes.
Then I turn around and pursue him, and like any guilty person, goes, "Oh, hey, what's up?"
Yeah, hi.
What can I do for you, sir?
Yeah.
Not oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to bump into you. None of that stuff. None of the, if you or me, Bill, bumped into somebody on the road violently enough to shake them, I think we'd all go, "Well, goodness, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to do that." He does the kind of like, "Oh, hey, what's up, man? What can I do for you? Hey, pal."
Yeah. And again, there is a point in most boys' adolescent life in which you've done something you probably shouldn't have been doing, and some sort of an authority figure has arrived at the scene, and you're like, "Shh, be cool, stop, just act like we know what's going on. Just, what's going on, officer? I don't know. That is an unusual sound. I did not know of that disturbance here locally." Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we've all been there.
Well, and it wasn't a big courtroom, Bill. That was the other interesting thing, is I'm 2 rows behind them.
Ooh.
And in fact, they're sitting out discussing the case with their lawyer, and I just walk up.
Oh, that's great.
And I can only imagine the look in their face, or the thoughts in their minds. I could see the look in their face, which was, "Oh, here he is."
Yeah. Oh, here he is.
He showed up.
Yep, exactly.
And so I walked right by him, sat down. They came in, sat down 2 rows ahead of me. And I heard pretty much the entire conversation, which was the lawyer guiding them through the process. Here's what the protection order means. Not admittance of guilt. It's pretty standard in these cases. There was no effort to fight that. None of that. There were some clerical cleanups that had to take place. But, they decided September 2nd, he agreed to the protection order, and on we move. So That was the result of today's court proceedings. Not the hottest case in Colorado right now. There happens to be a dentist that claims that mantle.
Yes, he does.
But Jeff Hunt's reporting live from Denver City County Court. So, yeah.
Oh, that is fantastic, my friend. I'm glad it was easy. I'm glad it was painless. And I'm glad you got the protection order. And I'm really, really glad, and I know that everybody in the audience, we're getting text messages about this as well, that you are holding this person responsible. I love the idea that earlier on when you were talking, you're like, "Oh," when he turns around, he's like, "Uh-oh," and you talk to him about the fact that you're going to be pressing assault charges. You're like, it's the realization, it's the consequences of my actions. You're like, "Uh-oh." Yeah, I appreciate that.
I don't know if you've ever been in a position to have to hire an attorney for your child, but I imagine the parents aren't quite thrilled about that development of this either, because, well, attorneys aren't cheap.
No, they're not.
And so to have to put that money out for your kids, kicking a media figure in the back.
I know.
I mean, it wasn't an intense engagement. It's not like he and I going back and forth, because, Bill, you and I could go back and forth.
Yes.
It gets a little heated sometimes,
absolutely.
right?
Absolutely.
But no, this wasn't any of that. Didn't even know the guy. I mean, you might kind of understand as a parent, like, all right, little Johnny got worked up. Johnny got into a debate, and this journalist is a jerk, and I don't like him, and he's saying terrible things to my kid, and lo and behold, my kid lost his temper and threw a punch, whatever it might be. But can you imagine the parent being like, so he was talking to himself in a video, and you decided the best thing to do at that moment was just to walk up, not confront him, not challenge his reporting, not go, Jeff, you're full of gotcha questions, but to rear up and just kick him in the back.
Yeah.
That's what you decided to do.
Yeah, that's the part here. Now, I thankfully have not had to hire an attorney for any one of my children. And if you're listening, I better not have to. I'm just telling you that, kids, if you're listening. Okay, now, we're just got to clear that one up for a second. Now, how difficult is that conversation? Because, again, you and I are both parents, and we've also been children. But that idea of having to explain to the parents or having to listen to your child going, so who did you kick at the event? The guy that's on the radio. Okay. And you kicked him while he had cameras filming. Okay. So of all the people in the crowd that you decided to attack, you picked the dude that has a media platform and cameras. Really? That is the person of all of those individuals that we could have chosen. You chose the guy that has the cameras. I'm like, really? That's the process inside. And in professional wrestling, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
No, and I've always wondered too if it gets to the parents before the person that's been caught. I thought this too about the Coldplay.
Yeah.
Right, because the media is so fast. That video of me getting kicked has 8 million views. Yeah. Right? And they discovered who the guy was within 2 hours. I didn't know who this was, but all these like anti-Antifa exposer people ended up identifying the guy's brother, identifying who his mom, his dad. Dude, I was getting this guy's college essays sent to me that people had discovered online.
Wow.
And so I've always wondered this too about this situation and then Coldplay. Did the people hear about it on the internet before the person was able to tell them?
Yes.
Right? Because that's how fast it moves.
Oh, yeah, exactly. It's like, uh-oh. Yeah, did you figure it out? Did you hear about it beforehand? That is crazy. And in professional wrestling parlance, the dude pulled a run-in. And that's when someone runs from out back or normally jumps out of the crowd and then jumps into the ring and clocks one of the wrestlers just out of the blue. The thing is that in professional wrestling, though, is if you're coming from the back, they always hit your music beforehand. So it's like, how come that? It's almost like it was planned, almost like this isn't real. Yeah. But yeah, what he did is the run-in. So you guys have someone that, and a lot of times they'll have them recently, they'll have them jump out of the audience. And so they'll jump out of the audience and they're hooded at the time and they smack whoever they're supposed to and they take the hood down and go, ha, this is who I am. That's what he did. He did the run-in on you. But without the crowd and the pop. Yeah.
Could you imagine the conversation? Mom, you might see a video online. 8 million people have seen this video. And our entire life.
Yes.
My college essays been posted online now. So I kicked the guy.
Yeah. It's almost like...
Did he insult you? Did he hurt your brother?
Yeah.
No. I just don't like him, and I decided to kick him with all the cameras around.
And he was standing there with his back to me, and I decided that was the perfect time to launch my sneak attack. Yeah. He wasn't doing anything to you. He didn't. And again, you're like, and the guy with the camera. That's the person that you. Okay, fine. And then again, you're always hoping. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, going back to the Coldplay concert, honey, you're going to see. We're going to see a video.
Yeah. Exactly. At the show
of me and the HR lady.
It was just it was a team building exercise. We were doing a trust fall, honey. I promise. It was a trust fall. Yeah.
Or was it the other way around where it's like, why am I seeing a video and you the HR person online?
Yeah, exactly. Why am I seeing this?
Why are all my friends why are my cousins and nieces and nephews sending me this video?
Yeah,
what is going on here?
There's this lament as a parent that you sit there and you say, oh, it'd be so cool one day if my kids are famous. Remember, qualify that statement. Remember how you want them to be famous is really important in that equation. Really, really important before you speak that or spend time in prayer. Yeah, talking about that one.
So we're all done for now. I'm going to make my way back to the Independence Institute. I'll finish the show with Bill. We'll jump back on all the fancy technology in order to do that. But yeah, it was me and about a dozen people, and I was just right behind them, just watching them, and they did. They're very darndest not to make any eye contact.
I bet. No, I appreciate you, my friend. Well, hey, have fun navigating the homeless. Remember, do not accept any gifts from them. They're probably not going to be anything you should ingest, drink, or even smell, honestly.
One pill can kill.
Yes, exactly.
Right.
All righty. Well, head on back. Safe travels, and we'll talk to you soon, my friend. Thanks for the update.
Thank you, Bill.
Thanks. That's Jeff Hunt. He was just live in the courtroom. Yeah, we walked you through it, where that weird dude just decided to come up and, sneak attack him. Pearl Harbored him, as they used to say, while he was at the protest downtown. Again, if you're his parent, you're like, you chose the dude on the air that had the cameras? Really? You attacked the guy that had the cameras? That's weird. I mean, I'm aware of people that go around of, burglaries and things like that. And they go and they choose the houses that normally don't have the dogs nor the security systems. This seems like an individual that might have decided, wow, that's an impressive security setup. I'm going to break in. Yeah, choices, people, choices. But in the meantime, I want to get back to will the Department of Justice charge Obama or anybody else in these documents that Tulsi Gabbard has released? Now, if you think so, call in, convince me. Why? 303-696-1971. I don't think so. I think this is going to be yet another mountain out of a molehill that we've seen from the Trump administration. Yet again, they're going to rattle their sabers and talk tough, just like everything about Liberation Day and things like that. And then at the core of it, nothing. Remember, Trump administration said they'd release the Epstein files. Where are they? Now we have Tulsi saying that the Obama administration may have committed treason, her word, not mine, over what information they did or did not make public about the 2016 election. Treason, really? Question I've got for you at 303-696-1971 or on the Dan Caplis Law text line, 720-819-5115. Does Tulsi know about that recent Supreme Court ruling that gives presidential immunity to Barack Obama? Does this actually rise to the level of a criminal charge he could be held responsible for if he did it while he was president? Remember, SCOTUS has given wide latitude to what the president can do if that person believes it's in the best interest of the country. So has the Supreme Court given Barack Obama the get-out-of-jail-free card? That's a fun one, isn't it? 303-696-1971. 303-696-1971. Give me a ring. Tell me what I am missing. Why this is the biggest political scandal in American history. I don't get any phone calls. I'm going to assume I'm right. You don't want me to do that, do you? No, don't want to do that. We'll be back right after this. This is the Jeff and Bill Show, Denver's talk leader, News Talk 710, KNUS.
Wake up, Denver. There's no better place to start your morning than IHOP, where the pancakes are fluffy, the coffee is hot, and the smiles are endless. Wednesday, August 27th, join Jeff and Bill as they broadcast their show live from IHOP at 1595 South Colorado Boulevard in Denver. You're officially invited to be part of the excitement. Come grab your favorite breakfast and watch the Jeff and Bill Show in action from 6 to 10 a.m. Don't forget to try the special Jeff and Bill breakfast. Pancakes, any style eggs, and crispy bacon, all for just $7.10. It's a deal as good as their hot takes. All they need is you. Bring your appetite, bring your friends, and kick off your day with great food and great conversation. See you Wednesday, August 27th at IHOP.
710 KNUS, Jeff and Bill live. Jeff is back at the Independence Institute. He is going to join us right now, and we're going to go to Terry on the phone in just a second. Hey, thanks for rolling on back to the Independence Institute so quick.
Made it back.
Well,
it is hot out there, man.
Yeah,
but I was in a suit too, and I walked back, and it just breaks my heart.
Tell me, yeah, okay, let's talk.
Because you just pass so many homeless people, prostitutes, folks like that. You just go, I want. You're a Christian. I'm a Christian. I wish I had the power of Jesus to just be like, heal. I wish.
Yeah. It's that idea that you wish you wondered. This is the thing that I always go through in my mind. What I'm seeing there is I'm always curious about how did you get here? And that's the thing that hurts me the most is what are those choices? What are the circumstances in your life? And again, some you're not responsible for, but some you are. What are those choices? What are those things that happen in your life that you found yourself here? And that's the thing I'm most curious about because, that's in very rare cases, is that intentional? Is that type of lifestyle and what you're doing intentional? Right. So what is it and what went on? Yeah. But speaking about that, Jeff, I want to talk to, we've got Terry calling us right now, and he wants to talk about whether or not the Department of Justice is going to charge Obama, and is this the biggest political scandal in history? Terry, thanks for the phone call. What's on your mind, man?
Good morning, Jeff and Bill. Carpe diem.
Same to you.
Regarding Tulsi Gabbard, firstly, as we all know, she was charged or accused, not charged, she was accused of being a Russian asset. We all know that was a complete and total lie. So that tarnished her reputation and basically tarnished her run for presidency. I'm sure she has a chip on her shoulder. However, last night, you guys probably didn't see it, on Chris Como, they had Matt Taibbi and a person that wrote a book who was the counterbalance regarding Russian collusion and Trump. Last night they documented and they pulled basically emails and discussed the emails within the Obama administration stating that by December 9th, Obama gave them the go-ahead and research further the Russian collusion scenario. However, they knew at that point it was created falsely by the Steele dossier, and Comey and Brennan were all in on basically letting them know that it was not real. Now, this is what they said last night on TV. Matt Taibbi is probably one of the most credible reporters I've listened to over the last 20 years. He is not a conservative, and he literally chewed up the guy that wrote the book on Russian collusion. And basically, Como keeps it a very level playing field, but he basically said, you knew when you wrote the book that the Russian collusion was a lie. You proceeded with it. Comey and Brennan knew it was a lie. They proceeded with it, and they built a case around it. I don't think Obama has any chance of being charged. I think that, as you said, he has presidential immunity. However, Comey, Brennan, and Gates, they have culpability.
Now, I got a question for you, Terry. Where and how did they use the word collusion inside of the conversation? And the reason I ask is that's important because the collusion can be used as a legal term. And that's where Robert Mueller went, is Robert Mueller found that the Trump campaign and Russian intelligence did talk to each other and even coordinate, but it didn't rise to the level of criminal collusion. That's why Mueller's report says that there wasn't any collusion between the campaigns, but he absolutely outlines, separate from the Steele dossier, that there was conversation and coordination between them, and Paul Manafort, who was campaign manager for a cup of coffee with Trump, has backed this up as well and said, yes, they were delivering campaign information to Russian intelligence.
So, as far as how they couched it, I do not remember, but I'm sure you can pull the video from last night's discussion. It was worthwhile, and basically Taibbi called the author of the book about the Russian collusion a liar, and I don't know that, I'm not a lawyer, so let me admit that on the front side. I don't know what the accusation would be, but I can tell you this. I don't understand how this cannot be voter intervention or interference. It was so wrong what they did, and somebody should be held accountable. The question is, what are they held accountable for? I don't know.
Here's the thing is, are you coming to a conclusion saying this is so wrong? And I keep going back to, I understand that Taibbi is pushing back on the book and the author, and I don't know the author, I don't know the conclusions of the author, but we do have the Mueller report that does outline the Trump campaign, at least just coordinating with Russia and having communications and then obstructing justice afterwards. And then we have the Durham report that found nothing as far as the core of some sort of a Russian fake collusion narrative inside of the Obama administration. So how do they deal with these two large-scale federal investigations? How do they dismiss both of them?
Billy, I think that's fair. I would say this, though. I think that you saw Mueller after he filed the report, correct? You were aware of his mental condition. He was not nearly as bad as Biden, but he was not sharp. He had difficulty answering questions. He had difficulty remembering anything. I'm not surprised that they put him in charge because of the conclusions that he obviously came to. Whether they were pre-conclusions or not, I don't know. But I would say this.
And I hate to cut you off. I hate to cut you off, Terry, and tell you what, I got to let you go. This is 710 KNUS. We'll try to continue this on the other side.